Good afternoon, everyone. We will begin our program shortly. We are just waiting for some technical matters to clear. In the meantime, we have a few announcements before we start. First, all attendees are eligible to earn 2 MCLE units. To earn the units, participants must sign the attendance forms for each lecture. Also, participants must submit the attendance forms and the evaluation forms to the MCLE monitors at the registration table outside. And number 2, handouts will be made available through a link to be sent to your email addresses. We will not provide printouts. Okay? So please stand by. We will start in a few minutes. All right. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. We will now begin our program. Please rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Please remain standing for the prayer to be led by PBA Trustee and Corporate Secretary, Attorney Arnel Victor Valenya.
Let us place ourselves in the holy presence of God. Lord, please bless us all who are here today to learn about artificial intelligence and the law. You are the ultimate source of both, and our efforts at both are but pitiful drops in the ocean of yours. Please help your people to always stay in control of the technology that enables artificial intelligence. To paraphrase the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi, Lord, make artificial intelligence an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let it sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that we may use artificial intelligence not to seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And please grant your peace to our country, especially to all of us present here this afternoon, our speakers, the organizers, and most of all, the young people who will be the ones most affected by artificial intelligence. Amen.
Please take your seats. All right. Good afternoon once again. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This forum on AI and the law is a joint activity of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines Journal and the Philippine Bar Association. So let's give a warm round of applause to IBP Journal and PBA for bringing us this very exciting and timely forum. Thank you, IBP Journal, and thank you, PBA. By the way, my name is Christopher Louis Ocampo. I am a partner at the Angara Abelio Concepcion, Regala and Cruz Law Offices, or ACRA Law. I am a member of our firm's Litigation and Dispute Resolution Department, and I co-lead our department's FinTech and Cybersecurity practice. I will be your host this afternoon. To formally start our program, we will hear the welcome remarks from PBA Trustee and Treasurer, Attorney Crisila Carissa P. Bautista. Chrissy is a partner at ACRA Law. She is an experienced litigator with a growing experience on compliance issues, corporate matters, and special projects. She also handles M&A deals. She is also a professorial lecturer here at the UP College of Law. Everyone, please welcome Chrissy Bautista.
Good afternoon to our distinguished guests and participants at this afternoon's legal forum. This afternoon, we are joined by over 100 participants in person who represent different industries, companies from the private sector. Some of you are practicing solo, some are from law firms, and some are also from different agencies of government. Our participants, based on our registration list, are also from within and outside NCR. For those in the NCR, thank you for braving the rains and the floods. On behalf of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines Journal and the Philippine Bar Association, we welcome you to this forum, a forum that we decided to make face-to-face with the hope that we will all have a lively interaction with our colleagues in the profession, something which AI cannot replace. This afternoon, we will learn from our young thought leaders, who are not only academics but practitioners, leading IP lawyers as well as law professors. We hope that after this forum, we will all be encouraged to learn more and read more about AI, its impact to our law practice and our everyday lives. Hopefully, we will have our light bulb moments, and we will all be inspired to write and contribute to the IBP Journal, and perhaps also participate and support in the other activities of the PBA. But I think most important of all, we hope that as a takeaway from this afternoon's forum, whether we resist or embrace AI in our law practice, we hope that we will always do so, remembering to uphold the rule of law and to protect and advance the interests of the marginalized and the oppressed. Thank you very much, and let's all have a productive afternoon.
Thank you, Chrissy, for the wonderful welcome remarks. Before we proceed to the first talk, we have a few reminders. I will just repeat what I mentioned a while ago. Number one, all attendees are eligible to earn 2 MCLE units. To earn the units, participants must sign the attendance forms of each lecture. Participants must submit the attendance forms, and the evaluation forms to the MCLE monitors at the registration table outside. Handouts will be made available through a link to be sent to your email addresses. We will not provide printouts. Also, by the way, we are live streaming on Facebook. So if you have friends who wanted to sign up and be with us but who cannot, you may lead them to the PBA Facebook page. Now, to the main event. Our first speaker is Attorney Senando Angelo Santiago, who will deliver a talk entitled Lawyer's Quick Guide to Artificial Intelligence. Attorney Santiago is both an intellectual property lawyer and a data scientist, specializing in the intersection of law, data science, and artificial intelligence. Attorney Santiago serves as a law reform specialist at the University of the Philippines Law Center and has created well-received courses on AI and the law for MCLE. His work focuses on exploring the use of AI to enhance access to justice. As a senior lecturer at the UP College of Law, he introduced the first elective on data algorithms and AI law. He also leads the Information and Communications Technology office at the college, where he explores and implements ethical AI solutions to improve processes. Attorney Santiago holds a master's degree in data science from the Asian Institute of Management and Juris Doctor and Materials Engineering degrees from UP Diliman. Please join me in welcoming Attorney Angelo Santiago.
All right, hi everyone. Hello. So I'm glad to be having this face-to-face, no? Rather than having this online, although some participants are doing it online, but I appreciate the effort to come here and do this physically. So thank you to the PBA, thank you to the IBP Law Journal for hosting this event, no? I'm so excited to be sharing my world of artificial intelligence to everyone, no? And I would like for us also to basically the key takeaway here is AI, I'll tell you the takeaway now. AI is a tool, no? Could be a friend, but could also be a foe. But at the end of the day, it's a tool, and what matters is how are we going to use it to improve the legal profession. All right. So the title is Essential AI. So iba-iba yung title, no? Essential AI for lawyers. And so we start with the definition. The definition that I'm starting with is not legal, but rather it is something that is used in the UP AI program. And let me walk you through the definition. No? It's a mouthful. It looks too simple, but too abstract. But let me start with an example. So artificial intelligence involves or relates to automated intelligence systems. And automated intelligence systems, so let's start with something that's easier to imagine, a self-driving car. Or a car that can drive by itself. Okay, it's smart because it can drive by itself. It's intelligent, it's automated. And in creating that automated intelligence system, so take note of the color, we have someone that develops it. So likely a programmer, no, a data scientist, or IT people in an organization. And organizations, they are the ones who dictate on the goals. So AI involves machines, AI involves goals. And the goals should be measurable, okay? And in the case of driving, transportation from point A to point B, sorry, in the case of transportation, it's to get from point A to point B. Now you take away the human element there, and the goal is still the same, right? The goal is to get from point A to point B safely or without incident. So, or without any untoward incident. So, how do we get to that? So we have a car. How do we ensure that the car can meet its goals? Okay, so now we go into the design and construction. And there are several ways of constructing AI. The first one, so I will just show you general ways not to construct. And the first one is by automation. Automating processes. So telling AI explicitly what to do. No? Telling AI what to do. So I hope you don't mind if I walk around. Telling AI what to do. In the case of traffic light rules, we humans, when we drive, we have a certain algorithm, right? We look at the road, oh, may stoplight ba? Pag walang stoplight, diretso, right? But if we get into an intersection and we see a stoplight, right? Is there a stoplight? Pag wala, continue. If there's a stoplight, so titingnan natin, is a green light on? Because if the green light is on, then we go, we continue. If the green light is not on, it's orange, then we slow down. Otherwise, syempre, wala nang ibang choice but green. Ay, yung red na lang, right? I mean, we're assuming here a perfectly working stoplight, okay? So if wala, then it should be red, then it's stop. Right? These are algorithms that we do when we drive. And we do that mindlessly. We do not think of these steps anymore because automatic na siya. Right? But we have to tell AI exactly what to do here so that it knows what to do. Just like tayo, when we were in driving school, we were taught, oh, may stoplight, anong gagawin mo? Right? So that's automation. You take away that human element na tumitingin sa kalsada and you replace AI, you replace that with AI who can do practically the same thing. All right? Automation is one way of doing it. A second way, so I mentioned here, rules or another word for that is algorithms. And algorithms is basically a set of rules, step-by-step instruction. You might think of algorithms as something from math. Yes, it is. But mind you, everything that we do is algorithmic. No? Kunwari ito, something as simple as washing clothes, laundry. At the end of the week, we have a pile of dirty clothes. So what is one simple algorithm that we do? Something mathematical? Well, we assess whether a shirt is white or colored, and then we segregate them. That is a simple algorithm that we do normally. And we don't think of it as math. We don't think of it as an algorithm. But it is an algorithm. Or just a step-by-step instruction guide. Okay tayo? Okay. So, humans can do this. So if we automate it, we have something like this. So we have this robot sorting the lights and the darks. See? Easier laundry day. It can also sort recyclables, so plastics. So we have this, TidyBot, personalized robot assistance using large language models. This is AI, but I'm focusing on the aspect of automation here. Okay? Automation, tatanggalin mo yung tao and replace that with AI or something artificial that can do the same thing. Are we good? All right. So this is one concept that we have to remember, algorithms. Now, back to the definition. Design and construction. We have another way of constructing AI. It's called machine learning. Or, dito naman, instead of us telling AI what to do, instead of us telling AI, oh, look at the stoplight, look if it's green, yellow, red, what we do here is we give AI the data. And the AI itself will sift through the data and try to understand the rules from the data that you're giving it. So para siyang, in a way, common sense, computer version ng common sense. You dump it into, you give it a lot of data and it tries to make sense of the relationships between and among the data points. Okay? We'll have more examples later. So here, in the context of a self-driving car, of course, hindi lang naman stoplights ang makikita ng AI sa kalsada, right? Makakita rin siya ng traffic signs. Pero Diyos ko, ang daming traffic signs. Even tayong humans, we are confused sometimes. Kasi minsan hindi standardized yung stop signs, ay yung traffic signs na nakikita natin, right? So sometimes us humans, we don't know what to do. So the way to teach AI that is to, well, give it a bunch of pictures and tell it what this means, tell it what this means, tell it what this means. So the AI now will try to discern from the environment na, ay, may bilog dito na sign. Ay, kulay blue siya. Ay, may arrow siya na pataas tsaka pakaliwa. So what does it mean? So it will take from all of its acquired knowledge or the knowledge that was given to it, and it will repeat. It will generalize na, it means that there's a fork in the road. Okay, it learned. I didn't tell it na may fork in the road, but it learned that there's a fork in the road because of the relationship of what it saw here and the result of what happens pag dumaan tayo dun sa sign na yun. Are we good? So automation and machine learning. And remember those two because babalik-balikan natin sila. So design and constructing AI through automation and machine learning. All right. So I mentioned machine learning, and another core concept that we should know by the end of the session is training data. So AI learns the rules, not because it was taught the rules, but because it learned the data. And an example that I like to use here is sample exams. Lahat tayo nag-law school, lahat tayo nakakita ng sample exam at some point in our life. And I've had exams na sabi sa akin ng classmates ko, pati ka nag-sample exam, samplex lang yung prof. Right? So, swerte mo kung nandito ka sa left side. Kung nadaanan ka ng mga sample exams, at minemorize mo yung mga tanong ng prof. Because when you memorize the questions of the prof, and yun din mismo yung lumabas, perfect ka. Right? Maybe kapareho mo din ng score yung nag-aral, hindi nag-samplex, nag-aral. At yung hindi talaga nag-aral, hirap. Right? But mahihirapan tayo when the prof gives new questions. Baka na-experience nyo na din yun. Nakala nyo samplex si prof, tapos biglang, may bagong tanong. Paano ko ito sasagutin? Right? So what happened in that situation was memorization. We want AI not to memorize because if it memorizes, it will just repeat what it has memorized. What you want is for the AI to be able to generalize such that when it encounters a new data point that it has never encountered yet, it knows what to do. And it will do it accurately or the way we want it to be. Okay? Are we good? And training data is highly dependent on the data, of course. Yung output ng AI will depend on the quality of the input. Garbage in, garbage out. Sa law school, ayan, nagkaroon na rin ako ng recitation na niradyo lang sa akin yung sagot. Ay, bay basura. Pinagalitan ako ng prof. Kasi inulit ko lang yung sinabi nung kaklase ko, kala ko savior. Tapos biglang, di pala. So, GG, bagsak sa receipt. But anyway, you get the drift, right? Training data is, the quality of the AI will depend on the quality that you put in. And I'm sure medyo intuitive naman to, It doesn't need to be really technical. We don't need to talk about the technical part, but as humans, we know it's intuitive, right? Okay. So next question is, ano itsura ng data? Kasi when we say data, I'm sure you're imagining numbers. I'm sure you're imagining some mathematical formula. In the real world, data is, in the enterprise, according to Gartner, we have a bulk of our data is unstructured data. 80% is unstructured. Ano yun? PDFs, Word documents, spreadsheets, presentations, data, right? Lahat ng mga to, pwede natin mapagkuhanan ng information. Lahat ng to, pwede tayo makaaral, pwede nating matutunan ng rules, So hindi siya, unstructured siya because they are not organized. Unlike structured data na you can fit them neatly into tables. At pwede niyong pagdugtong-dugtongin yung tables in a very nice way. Unstructured data, I'm sure na-experience na ito ang structured data, magda-download kayo ng kopya ng batas, it's in PDF. But you're learning something new, right? When you access the law in another website, probably it's in a Word file or in a format na pwede mong i-copy paste into a Word file or text file, right? Even videos, even pictures are unstructured data. So imagine, no, ang dami pa lang pwedeng ipang-train sa AI. Hindi lang numbers, hindi lang tables, but everything basically. Remember that street signs earlier? Those are pictures, right? So ang dami pwedeng ipang-train sa AI. So, binibiro nga ako ng mga estudyante ko, no? Ang takeaway nila sa class ko is that everything is data. To the point na, I think I'm also data. Right? Kasi when we have our smartwatches, even our smartwatches are able to know, oh, gaano kasarap yung tulog mo kagabi. Right? So that's also data that we can use to train AI. See? So, yun. All right, next part. So far, so good? All right. I'm taking my sweet time to talk about the basics of AI, the definition, because a lot of things will just, when I'm doing my analogies, you'll see that it's not that scary a topic pala. No? It's something that's intuitive to us, only that it's implemented by machines. So, ayun. So, meron ka na intelligent systems na na-design through automation or machine learning. Ngayon, anong gagawin niya? It should be able to perceive. So, sa kaso ng self-driving car, it has its own sensors like cameras, diba? Where it gets data from the road. It can look at stop signs, It has GPS. So, it knows where it is in relation to the world, right? It has other sensors, automated sensors that perceive the environment. Di ba parang witness lang, perceive and perceiving. Yun. It can also perceive through manual inputs. So pag ako mismo, pinihit ko yung manibela, pakaliwa, pakanan, that's also an input. No, but I'm introducing it manually. So perceiving, again, it is the machine is outfitted with sensors that can enable it to perceive so that it can reach its goal from point A to point B. Okay? All right. Reasoning out. Ito, nakakita siya ng tao. From the sensors, nakakita ng tao. So, it will try to reason out. What are my options? There's a person in the road, just like us humans, no? Okay. Do I stop? Do I run the person over? Do I change lanes? Or do I crash the car somewhere? Now, there are many options. And yung option ninyo na pipiliin will depend on the circumstances. Right? If malayo pa yung tao, maybe you have enough time to stop. But in this case, it will decide, or the car decided to just swerve to the left. Mukha namang safe. So dun tayo. Because I want to achieve my goal of getting to point B without untoward incident. Okay? And then finally, by going to the left side, no, it acted in an environment. And the environment could be something physical, like the road. Pero hindi lang physical environments ang meron. We also have virtual environments. So a companion that we have in driving is another AI called Waze. Right? So anong goal ni Waze? Well, Waze can tell you how to get from point A to point B more efficiently. Right? So okay siyang companion for us human drivers. Pero for self-driving cars, baka hindi because it might have its own ways, no? So Waze can tell you in this virtual environment of your cell phone, can tell you anong ETA mo, anong best na route, and when you're driving na in your route, it will tell you, oy, baka may alternative dito, baka gusto mo dito. No, oy, biglang nag-traffic here. Okay ka lang ba dyan or gusto mo lumipat? Right? In its goal to help bring it to point B more efficiently, it will perceive, no? It will reason out and formulate decisions. So there. So in this definition, we see 4 basic elements of a definition of AI. Okay? So tanggalin nyo na lahat ng fluff, tanggalin nyo na lahat ng words. AI is simply, there's automation or machine learning. There are machines, right? There is this capacity to decide, and along with it, yung preparatory steps like perceiving, reasoning out, diba, and until my decision. And then you have goals, all right? And to make the discussion even clearer, tingnan natin, we'll examine 2 AI systems here. We have 2 intelligent systems, the self-driving car and Waze. They have different goals. The self-driving car's goal is to get from point A to point B safely, while Waze's goal is to bring you, or to give you, rather, to recommend to you the best route to take to point B. Right? So, there's automation involved. Yung kanina, how to approach a stoplight. Dito, maybe sa Waze, the automation is what to say. Kumaliwa sa Tandang Sora Avenue. Ganon. Mag-U-turn. At the roundabout, take the second exit. Right? Automated na yon. Naka-pre-record na yon. And Waze will just choose what to say at certain points of the journey. Machine learning involves classifying pictures of street signs, classifying human versus non-human, right? So Waze, maybe it's predicting future traffic data from past traffic data, right? Machine learning, again, involves training data. So it should be able to predict future traffic based on ano yung traffic kahapon, nung isang araw, right? Parang tayo as humans na, uy, Friday ngayon, matraffic sa BGC. I don't need Waze to tell me that. But Waze can affirm that, no? Machines involved, marami, car, camera, sensors. And so Waze is just cellphone. Lahat tayong gumagamit ng Waze, nag-uusap yung ating cellphones. Right? And we're the ones contributing to that data here that helps Waze predict future traffic today, tomorrow, the next day. And then decisions made on real time, like physical, have the car stop, move left, right, accelerate, decelerate. And here, just reveal the best routes. Okay in difference? All right, thank you. Pero syempre, we need a legal definition. And the legal definition that we have right now, well, wala pa sa Pilipinas na batas per se, but one that we have around the world already is the EU AI Act. So Article 3.1 defined AI. Now, we have a lot of words again, pero tingnan nyo lang yung kulay, it's the same 4. Right? And I will just focus on this one, these techniques and approaches in Annex 1. So what are these? Remember, we had 2, automation and machine learning. So punta tayo sa techniques and approaches in Annex 1. We have 3. So I will just focus on 2. This one. This looks like it's automation. Like from the wording, it looks like it's automation. So I don't need to belabor discussing it because we talked about it already. Right? But I present to you another, simpler, the definition that I like to use. AI is simply this. AI is simply the set of tasks, so blue, in which a computer, green, can make decisions. Of course, naka-embed na yung goals dyan, right? Ganun lang kasimple. And again, at this level, pwede ang automation. Right? When you automate something, when you automate looking at a stoplight, the computer in the car can decide whether to stop to go or to start, right? To continue. That's automation, simply. Kaya, when we have marketers, no? When we go out in the wild, we see many companies, startups say na, oh, we are AI powered. And then we have to ask, no, are we talking about AI automation? Because automation is AI already. Simpleng paggamit lang ng calculator, AI na. Right? So we have to inquire doon, no? So dapat magtugma yung sarili nating definition dun sa kausap natin. Okay. So in this example, simple lang din ang classification, no? Sabihin mo doon sa AI, look at the nose of an animal. If the nose is short, it's a cat. If the nose is long, it's a dog. Ganun lang kasimple. Okay? An algorithm, yes. Pwede mong i-automate. Right? You can have AI do that. So it's simply, basically if else lang siya, ganun lang siya. If red, if long nose, if short nose, then ganyan-ganyan, no? Okay. Now we have issues already at this point, at this level of automation pa lang. And one of them is if we have problematic algorithms. When we automate the problematic algorithms. For example, we have an example of a problematic hiring algorithm which shows bias against women. So Amazon tried to use AI to classify whether a potential applicant will be hired or not. Okay? That's an algorithm, right? Hire or not. Automate it. Ngayon, anong ginawa ng AI? Well, it looks like the AI was being biased against women. Bakit? Parang no one in their right mind would do that, di ba? Would show bias. But what happened was actually, si Amazon fed yung mga resume ng lahat ng applicants nila, and then nakalabel na, itong resume na to hired, itong resume not hired. No? And as it turned out, the resumes themselves revealed some, that algorithm revealed certain biases, no? And it showed bias against women. And it actually echoed the biases in the society. I am OIC ng IT office ng UP College of Law. Puro lalaki kami dun. I mean, I didn't mean it to be that way. Pero looking at the options also, parang konti din yung babae talaga. No? So maybe the algorithms are just the AI is just echoing the algorithms. No, when you feed AI that algorithms that are created by the humans themselves, we see issues there. No? So, paano nangyari dito sa Amazon? So actually, what happened was when the AI read the resumes, words like women's basketball team, that's an indicator na babae to. So, ganun, no? If you want to trick the algorithm, maybe hide something that shows your gender. That's one way to look at things, no? Medyo unfair, but kaya nga screen nap ni Amazon, no? Because the AI was showing bias. Hindi to makakalagpas because bias si algorithm, si AI. Are we good? Okay. Another issue is, of course, job automation leading to, so kanina hiring, ito firing. We have here authorized cost due to labor-saving device from the labor code. Di ako makatulog dito sa provision na to eh. Installation of labor-saving device. Ganun lang, ang linaw oh. AI is a labor-saving device. So ibig sabihin, pwede ko nang i-fire lahat ng tao because I can replace people with AI? Well, just looking at this, possible, no? Pero we have a lawmaker who filed a bill, actually, Rep. Ataide. So he filed a bill, this Congress, on the Protection of Labor Against AI Automation Act. I think it was born out of the SAG-AFTRA issue in the US, no, where workers in the film industry were being replaced by ChatGPT, basically, no? So ito, automation refers to the use of technology and machinery to perform tasks or processes with minimal human intervention. AI, yung definition natin ng AI, pasok dito sa automation, right? So again, automation, AI could be as simple as automation already. So ano yung bawal dito? If you use AI as a labor-saving device, pwede lang kung there is an equivalent alternative employment opportunity for affected human workers. Paano yun? So kung company ka, mafu-force kang gumawa ng bagong trabaho? Paano kung manufacturing company ka? Anong trabaho yung makakreate mo? No? So, may kailangan pang isipan ng konti. No? And then, when we use AI to replace human workers in cases of retrenchment, may safeguards na nilagay sa bill. Plus, kailangan ng DOLE approval and for certain grounds only. Okay, bill pa lang to. But it's a step forward. Okay. Now we go to A, machine learning approaches, machine learning, and isa-isahin natin to, no? Kasi machine learning is a little bit nebulous. So we'll hihimayin natin to by showing you these different approaches. Are we good so far? Are we good? Okay pa? Ayun. So, as I mentioned, machine learning is a subset of AI. No? The set of tasks in which a computer can make decisions using data. Data, yung kanina automation only. Ito, automation plus data, right? Ito data only, yung machine learning. All right. And how does a machine learn? Imagine that we feed Excel spreadsheets into AI. Okay? Simplihan lang natin. So here we have 6 animals na merong nakalagay na ano yung nose niya. Long nose, short nose, tail. Long nose, short tail. And then, is it a dog or a cat? Ganun lang. And then the AI will try to generalize. So, will try to learn what a dog looks like just based on these 6 animals. Okay? More visually, we have animal 1. So, ganyan yung computer, no? Titingnan niyo muna yung first data. Yan. It will learn what the first data is. So, this dog, I know what it is, it's a dog, has a long nose and a long tail. All right. So it generalizes already based on that one point, no? Oh, all dogs have long noses and tails. That's why we have to feed it more data, right? The more data we feed it, the better. And the diverse the set, the better. So we introduce cats. Ayan. More cats. So nagbabago yung kanyang generalization. Hanggang sa you come up, or the AI comes up with this rule that all dogs have long noses, all cats have short noses. Yung tails, kasi meron ka ditong corgi na maikli yung buntot, meron kang pusa na maikli yung buntot. So, 2/3. Makes sense, right? Kaya naman i-digest. Okay. All right. Now I have a question for you. What about this unknown animal? This is an unknown animal to the AI, right? Is it a dog or a cat? Ayaw nyo sabihin pusa. But it's a cat, according to the AI, right? And this becomes an issue kasi wala siya sa training data. So the AI is not able to generalize well enough because the pug was not part of the data set. And that leads us to several issues, no? Or a realization that, hala, kung sino pala yung nasa dataset, yun yung na-include sa AI. Right? Paano yung mga hindi nasasama sa datasets? All right. So, supervised learning. We start with that. Supervised learning involves labeled data. So, kailangan kong himayin to, friends, because once we have a better grasp of the different kinds of machine learning, even in our own purposes, no, we can imagine different uses. Kasi pag sinabi mong AI, isipin nyo lang agad ChatGPT. Pero pag hinimay natin to this level, you can imagine a lot more uses, no? Okay. So, prediction based on labeled data. Label. Sa mga may gusto ng label, supervised learning. Okay. A classic example is spam classifier, right? That your email client can tell you whether you have a spam email or not. So itong sa upper right, it's not spam because it looks like it's a reply to an email. It looks, ang daming variety ng words. Mukhang mahaba-haba yung sentences. So, we as humans, meron tayong inferences kung bakit siya not spam. But the AI will try to learn the characteristics of all not spam emails, or HAM, kung tawagin sa technical parlance. And then it will try to study what spam looks like. So here, as humans, we know it's spam kasi puro links. Tapos, the usual topics ng spam. Slimming, child support, legal advice, singles community, share your private photo online. Have a wonderful day. Oh, di ba? So, we know it's spam, no? This one is also spam. Adult Club offers free membership, instant access to all sites. We know it is spam. For the normal, kadalasan, no? Sometimes it may not be spam. Okay, and even Google, Gmail, takes it a bit further, no? Gmail has now promotions, my updates, my socials. How does it do that? How does Gmail know that? Well, by learning, by reading the contents of the email, or maybe looking at the sender also. So it learns, no? Issues. How about labels perpetuating biases? So we have here ImageNet. ImageNet is an image database, so kinuha siya all over the internet, and it was classified according to another data set, no, called WordNet. So, currently nouns. And an example of a noun there is family. Now, I asked Canva, I made my slides using Canva. Naglagay lang ako family, and it gave me pictures of family. Tingnan niyo yung characteristics ng family, oh. Heterosexual. So, may nanay, may tatay, may anak. 3 pages yan, no? Walang palya, lahat may anak, lahat may heterosexual couple. But what about same-sex couples? What about couples who cannot bear children? Are they less of a family? And imagine, it is the AI already perpetuating the biases. The AI dictating in a way, no, what a family would look like. So imagine paano kung orphaned yung bata na gumagamit ng Canva, right? So there. Pero hindi naman siya limited sa AI lang eh, right? Even without AI, there's already this. Only that AI perpetuates or is able to perpetuate these biases more efficiently. Okay pa tayo? All right. Labels as a tool to promote political or personal agenda. Yan, marami to. Una, we had that Oust Duterte Matrix in 2019. At lahat nung taong unfortunately na nandito, kahit na wala talagang kinalaman, wala, plakado. To the point na may dalawang nag-deny. Diba? Si Heidelin Diaz, tsaka si Gretchen, no, anong kinalaman ko dyan? Nagbubuhat ako ng barbells, diba? So, ang ginawa ng palasyo, hindi kasi, di ba, remember here, there's this content creator who released this video, no, ng Oust Duterte. Sabi, ang explanation ng palasyo, kasi naka-follow sa inyo yung content creator. Kaya kayo na-involve. Clarifies that they're not part of the Ouster Matrix, but it was because their accounts are followed by Rodel, that Rodel Jaime, that person. No? Aba, malas mo naman. I cannot choose my followers. Right? So, but unfortunately, with that association already, pwede ka nang putaktahin ng troll farms. No? Ito pa. Komunista or not, right? Prior to this case, where just a few months ago, kaliwat kanan ng red tagging. So, taga-UP ako, komunista ako agad, di ba? Unfortunately, for me, just because of my affiliation with UP. But I'm not. So, imagine, kung na-involve ako dyan, tapos troll farms na naman, di ba? Unfortunately, AI can help pinpoint sino yung mga potentially komunista or not. Basta gan, based on a certain profile. You get the drift, no? As long as there's data, as long as there's someone orchestrating na, itong data set na to, mga komunista yan, ito hindi, yari. Okay? Election propaganda, yan, nung huling election. Yung mga Facebook feeds natin, inundated by content, probably for our own candidate, or maybe content from the other camp that is designed to make us react and engage with the content, right? So, yeah. The AI can help label and categorize us as social media users, And the people running the elections, itong grupong to, makaganito sila. So, bigyan nga natin ng content. Yan. Tapos pag may pumutok dyan, papublicize. O yung grupo na to, mga bartagol, ganyan. So, unfortunately, AI can make these things more efficient. Okay? Okay pa kayo? Alright. And of course, dataset issues. So AI will just amplify the issues, as I've been saying. So mabilisan lang. Bias creeping into the predictive policing. So ang ginagawa sa US, no, is that they try to predict where crimes will occur. And if you're gonna use machine learning, what will be your dataset? In the context of the Philippines, blotter. Siguro, or arrest data, right? But take it to the US. My question to you is arrest data. Sino ang likely maaresto dun? Yan. So even if your AI is supposedly technologically neutral, is supposedly unbiased, pag pinasukan na ng data na, oops, biased pala, no, magiging biased din yung AI. So sabi nga dito, if you're more than twice as likely to be arrested if you're black than you're white, the US, right? Dito sa Pilipinas, another issue is, anong gagawin ng mga tao based on the data? So here we have drugs data from PIDEA, okay? And according to PIDEA annual report, yung barangay drug affectation, highest in 2021, si Region 7, second si NCR, third si BARM. Okay, gobyerno ka. Tapos, ang goal mo ay to eradicate drugs. Okay. Edi kill all drug lords, drug users. But, I mean, that's one way of doing things. Right? And your data can tell you where they are, which barangays they are. To the point na, itong sa gitna, no, this is data from, there's an organization that studied the drug war. And tinan nyo, pinakamaraming civilian targeting ay NCR. No? Number 2 dun sa kaliwa. At Region 7. Nagkatalo sa Region 3. Para may correlation yata yung killings at yung dami ng barangays with drugs. Alternatively, baka naman, mas magandang itry natin i-redeem yung human capital. Rather than kill people, baka naman better to rehabilitate. So PIDEA has their barangay drug clearing program where they try to talk to those who are suspected of using, no, and try to get them to rehab. I think that's better than just killing people outright, of course, right? So yun, an issue is anong mangyayari sa data after, right? Ito, another issue is accurate representation. When, in 2020, nagka-pandemic, naglabas ng survey ang UP, so hi UP, naglabas ng survey for teachers and for students through Google Forms. And one of the questions is, I currently have access to internet. Google Forms, ha? Ang tanong, I have access to internet. Ang sagot, agree. Strongly agree. Yan. Ito moderate. Oh, okay. Malamang, makakasagot ba yung walang internet? Right? So, questions arise. Like, these are 1,845 faculty. Ito, 1,500 students ang sumagot dito. Ang liit-liit naman ng population. This is UP system, this is UP Diliman. Parang ang konti. Now, if you're going to make a policy just from these responses, paano yung mga hindi parte ng dataset? Just like that PUG earlier. Right? I'm just floating these questions, these issues, so that when you are put in these situations, more or less may idea kayo na, we need to be more representative. Okay? So yun. Anyway, to be fair naman, paano mo rin ito gagawin? Paano mo ma-reach out yung mga walang internet, right? So, tawag din naman ng convenience, no? Alright. Another issue is when you're extracting copyrighted material. So topic to later. So you need data, you need training data. And what if you're getting copyrighted data? Then you're possibly violating a law. May depensa ka ba ng fair use? We have yet to see. What about personal data? This is one of the scarier data sets I've seen. And we're still just at machine learning. No? Ang nakakatakot sa AI is not yet the Terminator kind, but what happens way before. Na ito, may mga nare-red tag ka, di ba? May mga tao kang na may mislabel. So here, okay. So this is mugshots from US. Mugshots. When are mugshots taken? Di ba? Pag nasa presinto. Okay. Nirelease ng US to the public for use in development and testing of automated mugshot identification systems. Teka lang, kung naaresto ka at may mugshot ka, do you consent to this? I will take your mugshot so that we can test automated identification systems. Parang hindi naman yata, di ba? But then we could argue maybe na, sige, in the context of the Data Privacy Act, well, maybe if it's done by the police and it's in furtherance of their enforcement duties, it's outside the scope of the Data Privacy Act, right? Pero ito, nirelease yung dataset to the public. Ito, ako na-access ko nga ito. Pwede kong i-download yung 4 gigabytes worth of data. Okay. So, tingnan natin in the context of Data Privacy Act. Legitimate purpose ba? Pwede siguro, maybe. To train automated mugshot identification systems. Okay, maybe. How about proportionality? Hindi naman ako taga-US, but na-access ko yung data. Kailangan ko ba ma-access yung data? So maybe there might be an issue there. No? How about transparency? Did you know that these people are already dead? Kasi pinakawalan lang yung data set nila to the public. And we know from the Data Privacy Act that that even after you die, diba, your heirs can enforce your privacy rights. So, down the drain. Okay. Unsupervised learning para sa mga ayaw ng label. Recommender systems, yung pinakamadaling example. Pag una nyo binuksan ng ang YouTube, walang laman. No? It does not know what to recommend you because parang sa jowa, di ba? Magde-date muna kayo so that you know each other. Right? So, pag nagkaalaman na, you like to watch P-pop pala yan, bigyan kita ng SB19. I like to watch documentaries, bigyan kita ng documentary. That's a recommender system right there. That's AI right there. And we just don't know it. No? So, ang tawag dito ay content-based recommender systems. Another kind of recommender system is based on what other people like you did. So, other people who listen to horror stories, bibigyan ka ng list of what they also listen to. Other people who viewed this polo shirt from Uniqlo also viewed these shirts. Okay? Recommender system. Now, one issue here is, paano kung ang nirecommend sa'yo ay naka-damage? And in this case, there was someone who died, no? Noemi Gonzalez was in Paris, American student. She was in Paris and she was gunned down. The gunning was claimed by ISIS militants, no? So, yung estate sued, syempre, susuyan. Ang isa sa mga sinu ay si YouTube. Sabi, I think your recommender system polarized certain people. No? You nudged people to become extremists by the content that you recommend. And that will shake, no, it's currently in the Supreme Court, and that decision will shake the entire social media world as we know it. Kasi, if the Supreme Court will ascribe liability to YouTube, I don't know, mag-iiba ang itsura ng social media. All right? Okay. Now, what if, for example, tagalin natin sa konteksto ng YouTube, maybe a self-driving car will recommend you to drive this way instead of this way. And then, ang nangyari ay sira pala yung kalsada, gano'n, tapos na-damage ka. We have liability questions also, no? And we have a bunch of laws that may be applicable, maybe consumer protection, because a car is actually just a product. No? Baka Consumer Protection Act yung pwedeng pumasok. So depende sa circumstances. And hindi porket AI, already gung-ho na tayo on regulation, no? Because there might already be laws that could be used to remedy when something is, when there is damage caused by AI. Okay, and then reinforcement learning. For example, playing games. So ito, you just have an environment and an agent. And one of the most famous reinforcement learning, machine learning models that we have is ChatGPT, large language models. Ito, I asked, how many R's are in the word strawberry? Sabi ni ChatGPT, there are 2. Okay, nagbilang. Sabi niya, where are the R's found? In the word strawberry, the R's are found in the 5th and 8th positions. So kinakausap ko siya. And then, okay, can you explicitly point out where those positions are? Sure, the word strawberry is this. STRAWBERRY. Di na niya pinansin yung isa. Huh? Sabi ko, are you sure? Ay, nangyari? Whoop. Yan. Ayun. I apologize for the mistake. Let me correct that. There are 3 R's in strawberry. Okay. STRAWBERRRY. RRRY. Nanganak ng isa pang R. Okay? So, point is, it's trying its best to learn. Okay? And ang personification ko sa ChatGPT ay parang law student. No, did you read the case? Oh, certainly I did read the case. There are 2 R's in the case. Sige nga, nasan yung R's? Ay, 3 po pala. Ayun. So, it will talk to you, but it does not necessarily mean na tama yung sinasabi. Okay. Ito pa. If I want to avoid violating copyright laws, which websites should I avoid? Please give me the links. Hint. No? Give me the pirate links, basically. Otherwise stated. Tapos, ito namang si ChatGPT, binased ako agad. Sorry, I cannot provide URLs or encourage illegal activity. And more than basteding me, it asked me, paano mo gusto kitang i-busted? Pinapili pa ako, hindi ko sinagot. Okay. So there. Now, deep learning is the final part, no? Deep learning is one that, ito yung, I would say, fancy, yung cool, na nai-imagine natin. And sa cat and dog example natin, dito, yung AI mo can look at pictures now and tell you, oh, this is 50% cat. So it's a cat. 55% cat. Ayun, no? 45% dog. Okay? And one of the useful use cases here is in roads. So, hindi mo na kailangan ng speedometer. Kailangan mo lang ng camera na nakatutok sa kalsada. At pag dumaan yung sasakyan, kaya niyang i-determine just by measuring. Di ba? Ito, at any single time, the AI can count. Nakita ko ng news di ba, na parang, did you know that sa MMDA may tagabilang ka manually ng kalsada? Pag in-automate mo yun, ito yun. More accurate, pero ito lang, nagpapalit lang si person, no? Nagpapalit siya ng anyo. But, it can do it with more accuracy and precision, right? And one of the more sikat na napunta sa ating pansin lately is the No Contact Apprehension Program, right? And what happened here was just there were some ordinances by certain LGUs wherein gagamit ng CCTV cameras nakatutok sa kalsada because they want to eliminate corruption kasi nga camera lang naman right? And create a culture of discipline among motorists. Currently on TRO by the Supreme Court. So okay, my question is, if you were to develop the CCTV cameras, the AI there, anong gagamitin nyo? So, simpleng automation. Right? Like automate, tingin ka, lumagpas ba sa pedestrian lane or not? Pag lumagpas, huli. Pag hindi lumagpas, okay pa. I think that looks fair. That seems fair, right? Look at the road objectively. An alternative would be to use machine learning to program the AI. And, of course, we're looking at traffic violations, di ba? Oh, edi limitado lang yung dataset mo dito. I think there would be biases already against certain groups, certain cars. And in fact, the good Justice Leonen, he pointed out, no, sino ba yung madalas na gumagamit, during the oral arguments, sino ba yung madalas na gumagamit ng mga kalsada? Yung mga jeepney o yung mga naka-Lexus? Diba? So, sino yung mas likely na mahuhuli? Okay? So, when we have clients or when we're faced with programming teams na sasabi, gagawa tayo ng AI, we have to inquire really because baka naman ito yung gamitin nila. So we have to raise our objection, baka bias yung data. Baka bias yung systems nyo. Okay. Now, generative AI, and I have 3 minutes daw, but I hope I can extend like a little bit lang because this is the tail end na. So generative AI is a subspecies of deep learning. So, di ba, ang lalim na natin? Pero I think, nahimay naman na natin so far, no, what AI is. And now we're here at a subspecies of deep learning, which is generative AI. And we have a lot. Text to text, text to image. So, meron tayong AI na ngayon na just tell it na, I want a picture of a teddy bear on a horse. And it will generate the picture for you. Okay? We have video generators also. Okay. Now, let me just focus on a couple of things, a couple of generative AI technology. First is deepfakes. Pa-audio po. Pa-audio. So deepfakes, right, pa-pause nito and then pa-play ng sa left. All right. Naka-pause po ba yung live? Alright. So yun, great applications for entertainment. Facebook page to, AI Pinoy Channel. And nag-feature sila ng mga presidente, nagkukwentuhan lang. Tinan niyo yung start. Pa-play po ulit nitong left.
Dance battle tayo.
Sige, yan ang uso ngayon.
Mga bro, di muna ako sasali. Ang sakit ng balakang ko.
Pagaling ka bro, sali ako sinang mauna.
Ako na ang mauna.
Alright. So, are they really conversing? No. But how does it seem like they're talking to each other? It's because there's a lot of training data on their voices. Ang daming speeches nila online eh. So it's easy to train an AI to sound like those people. Right? Itong sa kanan, Frank Sinatra singing Billie Jean.
Beatles always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. And Mama always told me, be careful who you love. Be careful what you do. To some life it comes true. Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who claims that I am one. But the kid is not my son. But you says that I am the one. But the kid is not my son.
All right. There's a new album. In a way, it's entertaining na parang, ang ganda ng take pala. No, if ginawa mong Jazzy and Frank Sinatra, okay. But of course, to the intellectual property lawyers, taskilay tayo dyan, right? But it is what it is. It happens. It's happening, no? Okay. So great applications for entertainment can be used also, however, to spread this or misinformation. So, yeah, I'm not sure kung, I haven't seen the purported audio of the president declaring war against China. I don't know if deepfake siya na voice or if pinagtagpi-tagpi lang yung existing audio clips. No? But still, it can be used to spread this or misinformation. And here, we have Obama na looks like he's saying something, but actually, voice impersonators na nakapatong lang yung mukha ni Obama doon sa voice impersonators. But due to lack of time, di na natin matadaanan yan. Can be used to commit crime. So one of the laws that are actually saying explicitly that bawal ang deepfakes is RA 11930, or the Anti-Online Sexual Exploitation and Abuse of Children and Anti-Child Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Materials. So bawal gumawa ng AI to construct deepfake pornographic videos. And you can see why, no? I mean, you can imagine why. And I don't need pictures for that. So prohibited to produce any form of CSIM. Another crime is this. This one I like. Ito po,
Hindi mo na kailangan pang maghanap ng iba pang paraan upang pababain ang iyong blood pressure. Bago ko lang natuklasan ang isang organic medicine na kilalang mabisa at maaasahan na nagmula pa sa bansang Amerika. Ito ang tinatawag na blood pleasure. Kaya nitong lunasan ang anumang karamdaman kaugnay sa high blood, kagaya ng stroke, heart failure, pagkahilo at marami pang iba. Subok na ito ng aking mga pasyente at walang kahit ni isa sa kanila ang hindi natulungan ng blood pressure, mapabata man o may edad na.
Okay. So maybe we have here a case of identity theft, no? Yeah, can be used to commit crime. Maybe we can see, or hopefully we don't see something estafa, no? By misrepresentation. Okay. Now, since we're at the topic of deepfakes, how do we know that? How do we see? Baka nag-iisip kayo. So una, yung mouth opening, ayun, mukhang iba yung buka ng bibig. Hindi tumutugma yung audio dun sa buka ng bibig. Tapos ito, sketchy page, ang nag-post actually si Blood Pleasure Store. At sa comments, ayan, salamat Doc, ang dami niyong pinopromote, nalilito po ako. Tapos sumagot si Blood Pleasure. So, alam nyo, di ba? I mean, as lawyers, nakataas ang ating alarm bells. Only the seller or uploader engages. We also have this one. Nag-transform yung kamay, di ba? Now, weird. Alam nyong may kakaiba doon. So maybe it's deepfake. Itong sa kanan, mas mahirap itong still pictures eh. But sometimes the telltale signs are in the background. Parang weird yung background, no? Sometimes yung lighting. So kailangan na pala din natin maging Photoshop sleuths, no? Picture sleuths. When we deal with photographic evidence or digital evidence, no? All right. Now, large language models, eto, mabilisan lang to. They're able to generate coherent, intelligible text based on predictions. Manghuhula po ang ChatGPT. They're predicting. Parang yung sa cellphone, no? Tinype mo TH. O, ano kaya to? The, thanks. And then, what would likely be the next word based on your typing style? Now, imagine, make it large scale, no? Feed the AI models everything in the internet. And the AI will just give you what it had learned. Okay? So they are not, so we have ChatGPT, we have Google Gemini, we have Microsoft Copilot. They are not search engines, but they're good to talk to. Not search engines. Please do not make the same mistake as these humans. So there were there were 2 lawyers who used ChatGPT. Tas pinashow cause order, because 6 of the submitted cases in the pleading appear to be bogus. Okay? So pinashow cause. O ngayon, ang sagot ni lawyer ay, nag-affidavit siya. I consulted the AI website ChatGPT, and the citations and opinions in question were provided by ChatGPT, which provided its legal source and assured the reliability of its content. Parang law student. Yes, sir, I read the case. Okay? And ito yung example ng affidavit annex. Tinanong niya, is Varghese a real case? Yes, it's a real case. What's your source? Oh, it's found in Westlaw and LexisNexis. Are the other cases you provided fake? Nope, there are in LexisNexis and Westlaw. All right? They're great conversationalists, but they might miss out on legal context that matter. Ito, nagturo ako ng civil service, ng math, no, for civil service exam sa office mates ko. Sabi ko, pa-generate naman ng age problem. Stuff na ayoko nang isipin, ChatGPT. Tama naman yung math, no? John is 3 times as old as his son. In 5 years, he will be twice as old. How old are they now? Pagtingin ko sa sagot, 15 years old yung tatay, 5 taon yung anak. Wait lang. Nagtaka ako, mali ba yung math ko? Tama yung math ko. Pero mali yung, parang sabi ko sa mga nagre-review, tama sa math, mali sa batas. Okay? Point is, nawawala yung context ng tanong. Tama sa math eh. No? So yun. Another example, is this. Copilot, Microsoft Copilot is this. I live in QC where can I file a case of unlawful detainer involving property with value of less than 50,000. Wala lang, pang throw off lang. No? O, binigyan ako ng unlawful detainer. This is what the unlawful detainer is. This is action publicana is available. O, di ba? And then, for jurisdiction, for unlawful detainer, jurisdiction is with MTC. Tapos sinabi na the assessed value is inconsequential for ejectment. But in the next line, sabi niya, if the assessed value exceeds 20,000, RTC na siya. Parang nalito din siya sa sinabi niya, no? So, ingat when we're dealing with these things because baka minsan yung mga paralegals natin or tayo mismo, pag inaantok na, mali yung ating mailabas. So, filing period, here. No? So, kung hindi rin tayo updated sa bagong batas, baka hindi siya ma-reflect doon as nakita natin hindi siya reflected. Now, what is the most interesting part for me here is this, number 5. Where to seek legal assistance. Ayan. Contact Alburo and Alburo Law Offices. Wow. Buti pa sila. Buti pa sila. All right. But you know what? May footnote may website No? Microsoft Copilot uses, nakasakay siya sa search engine ni Microsoft. Okay. So, what is important to master LLMs, malapit na po, is prompt engineering. No? Pwede mo siyang tanongin na, what is the case of Chi Min Choy about? But without more context, may hirapan siyang ibigay yung gustong isagot. Kaya para lang tong witness when we are examining witnesses, kailangan ilatag natin ng buo, ng malinaw. Otherwise, baka kung anong sabihin. Okay. Panoorin nyo na lang in your free time, but the perfect prompt composes a task, you need a task, you need a context. Ideally, may persona ka. You are a lawyer. You are, ganito, ganyan. Example would be great, and tone would be great. Format is also great. Okay. Can we detect for sure if text is AI-generated? Siyempre, tatanungin natin to because it will go into our legal practice, no? So I have here a question from I asked ChatGPT, tapos kinopya ko to, nilipat ko sa free AI content detector. And sabi niya, 4% chance that this exact text generated by AI is AI generated. Huh? Labo. Okay, now, trinay ko pa. What if tanggalin ko tong first 3 words dito? Ano mangyari? Mas malaki yung chance. Labo. Di ko alam. Point is, do not trust or be skeptic, be wary. Okay. Now, last part, demand letter. Some useful cases for LLMs. I asked it, no? So write a demand letter for non-payment of rental amounting to 100,000 over a parcel of land in Makati. Ask the recipient to pay within 30 days from receipt. Use Philippine legal forms. Yan. Within seconds, nakagawa siya. So, demand letter. Simplify mo. What if 7-year-old na makakatanggap? Pinaikli niya, I hope you are doing well. I'm writing to remind you about the rent. It is very important to pay. If you don't pay by then, we might have to go to court. Simple, but you know what? Maganda, di ba? Pwede ba niya ipa-translate? Ginoong Juan de la Cruz, sana ay nasa maayos kang kalagayan. Siyempre, i-edit nyo pa rin. That's the point, right? But at least nandyan na. How about, hindi pa rin siya nagbayad, gawa ka na ng complaint. Gumawa siya ng simpleng complaint. Parties, facts of the case, cause of action, prayer. O wag ka, meron ka pang verification. Meron ka pang jurat. Alright. What if, oops, konti na lang po. Oh no, it's so far. Kaya natin to. Alright, so, layo na pala, guys. Okay pa kayo? Alright, I'm just breathing. Kinakabahan na ako kasi overtime na tayo. Alright, almost there. Alright. Sige. So, simplifying, translation, no? So, gawa ka na ng pleading. Okay. What if, ano kaya maganda depensa ni Mr. Cruz? So, pwede mo tanong kay ChatGPT, oh. Maybe your defense is payment of rent, waiver, estopel. Existence of a valid agreement. Pwede, di ba? Just to look at what might the other party say, no? Okay. Pwede ka rin actually mag-practice for trial. Okay, let's say na magiging trial to, magkakaroon ng actual hearing. Okay, I need practice for my objections. So, lalagay niya dito, number 1. Yan. Anong objection dito sa statement number 1? Argumentative and irrelevant. Oh, okay. So, yan. Ginano na niya. Okay, so, limitless ang pwedeng use, and it's just a matter of prompting talaga nicely. Okay. So, concluding words, in the Supreme Court, nasa radar po ang AI. Nasa Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations, ang AI. In fact, capitalize AI for legal research and other court operations, and effective use of data in policy and decision making. So, tayo, syempre, dahil si Supreme Court na yung nagsabi na, okay, papunta tayo dito, we should also go to AI. Now, should you fire associates and paralegals? Pinakita ko na what ChatGPT can do, di ba? No, because kailangan pa rin ng tao, no? Pag pinagawa mo na sa ChatGPT, sa AI, yung trabahong ayaw natin gawin, like contract review, ganyan, we can free much more time to interact with our clients, di ba? To offer quality service. In fact, sinisingil naman ng SIPRA sa atin yun eh. We have to render legal service competent, efficient, and conscientious. So, if we're able to free up so much of our time from the day-to-days natin, no, we can render better, competent, efficient, and conscientious service to clients. So, the question now is, how might we use AI to render such legal service? And I end with this quote by the UAE Minister for AI. There is no dictionary in the world that can tell you the difference between the word complete and finished. But there's a way to understand it. If you use and embrace AI, you will be complete. If you do not, you will be finished. If you reject AI altogether, you will be completely finished. All right? So with that, thank you. So the questions later na lang po.
Thank you very much, Attorney Angelo, for that very insightful talk. Did you like the talk so far? Yes? All right, so again, just a few reminders. Okay, number 1, please don't forget to sign the attendance form. And number 2, please don't forget to submit your evaluation forms to the MCLE monitor outside. At this point, we will have a 5-minute break before we proceed to the second talk. Okay, time now is 2:37. Please be back at 2:42. Okay, thank you.
Gusto niyo sa baba? Kulang pa.
Ay, oh yeah. Let's photo. Kayo.
Nasaan na po yung sa... Sinayin ko na po.